Hello and welcome
to the High Noon Couples podcast,
where we empower blessed couples
to deepen the love, fostering mutual pleasure, connection, and joy.
So let's dive in.
So welcome back to the High Noon Couples podcast. Today we're going to have a very interesting topic, and also it's actually the first time really since the introduction that Sebastian and I is just us, both of us, just talking about topic, which will be today about how your phone has an impact on intimacy, your intimacy, how it had an impact on our intimacy and our connection, and how we get back to connecting and leaving our phone on the side, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to be clear that I think our view is that a phone isn't like inherently a bad thing. Like we can phone each other after work and we can catch up how our day went. And it's just a very great device to connect to our friends and our family. And I think what we're talking about today is the moments in life when the phone gets in our way of our genuine relationship.
Standing in the way of connecting, where, for example, being on the phone too long and then the day just goes by and then I was like, oh, we didn't do anything together. Or certain triggers that both of us have related with the phone. So yeah, enjoy. When did you first notice that using the phone, either you and I, was affecting our connection?
When we moved together, we had, of course, moments when we were doing our own things. You were watching your series and I was doing something else. And at the times mostly when we had some sort of dinner, breakfast together, basically sitting together at the table, I realized that there's something that triggers me when you check your phone while we were talking, or even if there was just stillness. And I remember also, I wasn't sure if I was over controlling. Like it seemed like, okay, maybe I'm controlling you too much and maybe I should just let go of this and just take it easy. Like, it's not that you will never listen to me again, but it's more like I can just sit there and you can just, shortly check something and then that should be fine.
Right. It's like it's like brushing it off as it wasn't a big deal or something.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure how to handle it in the moment because it was getting on my nerves. But at the same time, I knew it felt a bit much of you to ask of you to always like pay 100% attention, right?
Attention to you.
Attention to me, of course. Yeah.
What kind of emotions came up when, we were sitting on a table or even, just talking? I think it's on a dinner table or, on eating breakfast, lunch or something. But also when we sat together and we're talking and then suddenly the phone is buzzing or later on my watch.
Yeah.
What kind of emotion came up doing this?
While we were talking?
Yeah, while we were talking, also at the dinner table. It doesn't matter. Like when we were spending time together, but then
at meals.
You putting too much attention on the meals. I mean, it also happened, when we go for a walk, when we were having time together and then the phone is buzzing and I was checking it because that was also something that.
Yeah, it was. And it became more and more triggering over the years, I would say. So now we're 5 years blessed. And we had this conversation a few times where I would say, Daria, could you please not check your phone while we're talking? And you would respond, which I can totally understand. You would respond, I was just seeing what person XYZ responded, or like I'm awaiting a message. So yeah, I feel like at times I'm too controlling in that way. Like I want all the attention in that moment. And then there's another voice inside of me that thinks I deserve the attention when we're together on a walk or when we're sitting together over a meal or having a discussion. Yeah.
I think it's a controlling thing is that you were just really triggered by that.
Yeah. I'm trying to understand why.
Where did this come from?
I will come to that later. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess for me, like, especially maybe in the beginning, it wasn't that a issue for me at least, but like I started to properly work as a full-time job, like after about 1 year after Blessing and moved together. And it was a very high demanding job. I was an executive assistant and was basically doing 2 jobs in once. And for me, coming home and being on my phone was basically a release on tension. And also, I remember it was really difficult, like with my social battery was really empty because I had a good relationship with my coworkers, but it was also sometimes very intense. So being at home was like, for me, I just want to have my quiet. I just want to, not use my brain anymore. I was really grateful that basically since then you took over the whole household except washing laundry. I was fine with that.
Luckily, we have a machine that washes our laundries.
I mean, going to the basement, washing laundry, hanging it up and stuff like that. But you did everything else. Yeah, I still did the cooking, but cleaning everything else, and I was really grateful for that you really took over that. But I remember when you mentioned that I should not look at my phone or, not being too much on my phone, because that came as well, that I was too much for a long period on my phone. And you really wanted to connect with me because we didn't see each other for the whole day. We just saw like, okay, in the morning, you didn't get up. I was coming to the bedroom, kissing you. I'm like, goodbye. Wish you a beautiful day. And then in the evening, we often went back from the
You
sleep.
had to go to work at like what, 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Daria had to leave the house at 7. I had
like at 10, 11.
my first patients at 10 or 11, so I could sleep in. Yeah. So we didn't see each other in the mornings.
Exactly. So we had only in the evenings time together. And I get that you really wanted to spend time with me. But I remember that it was really difficult because I was so burned out from everything. And that for me was basically covering up everything that the overwhelm, I didn't want to feel anything anymore. So it was numbing me, basically. And that became really a challenge for both of us, right? Because I really felt that you wanted to control me. That you said, it's like, yeah, no, you're too much on your phone and you shouldn't do that. And yeah, it was right. But I have experienced an abusive relationship with a boyfriend that I had in the past. And I got really triggered by that from I'm like, oh, you want to control me. So isn't it the same situation like that? And I feel like my ego really came up at that point. I was not able to see your motivation. I mean, you said before you wanted to have my attention, but I believe you also wanted just to have this connection, right? It was not just like, I want to have your attention. You need to listen to me or, No, it was...
want to spend time.
Yeah, you want to spend time and you want to connect with me and to, just creating beautiful memories and having a good talk. And I remember so clearly that you were always really fighting in a good way, not it's like, we have to talk with each other, but more, hey, I really want to connect with you. Let's do something together. And I really appreciated that because if you wouldn't have done that, I believe that it would have been much harder for both of us, for me, for us to connect and just coexist, living like roommates. And you putting really your effort into, even though I wasn't seeing it at that moment, I really appreciate that.
You addressed many times that you needed the time on your phone. You needed that break from your work. And since my work days weren't as packed as yours, as stressful, I couldn't really relate to that. I just saw you come home and being super tired and stressed. So I guess in my mind, I wanted to give you the space to also just share how you're feeling and how you're doing by being connected and by just spending time. And it seemed like you just needed space for yourself because you were in a work environment with many people you had to talk to and people that were sharing things
And deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking back, I get it. You needed that time out. So yeah, I think if we would have communicated it better, what we wanted from that time after your work, it would have made it a bit more easier. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is also, if you look in the past, you always know better.
Always, yeah.
But I felt like we were going into our relationship already really mature in a lot of things, but still it's different than when you're single and work on yourself and then being in a relationship and work on yourself and to make the relationship work and better and more connected. So it was tough, but I'm also grateful for it because we came out of that better. We know better how to communicate it about it. So now, for example, I mean, I still do have an issue with the phone.
What kind of issue?
I mean, I'm using it too much. I remember I was on Sunday. I think I was on Sunday for like 3 or 4 hours just on Instagram. And I was like, I thought really nice. Like, if you don't say anything because you were working on your website.
Yeah, sure. I was.
And I was sitting next to you, basically.
Yeah. We were spending time together.
I was sitting next to you. I was painting as well. But I was on my phone. I was looking at my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, it's an hour. Okay, I'm going to finish soon. An hour later, I'm going to finish soon. Okay, never mind. It's like 3 or 4 hours later.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, maybe it's time to go to bed now.
Yeah.
And I know if you are around and you're not
Working
by yourself on something different, then I can check myself better, or it's for me better to get out the phone and do something productive or, do something with you.
So we're talking about self-control here.
Yeah, I guess so. It's for me easier to control myself if you're around, because if you're, for example, away from work and I'm alone by myself and I have to see on how to plan my day, it's harder to do it by myself. But yeah, it's harder. But what I definitely learned is if we spend time together, either doing meals, going for a walk, just sitting on the couch or on the balcony, then I don't look at my watch anymore. And I also don't look at my phone. Except I know that I'm looking or I'm expecting important phone call or message. Then I'll let you know. And then it's pretty easier, right?
Yeah, sure. If you know beforehand, you're waiting for someone to respond or to message. Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, but about a year ago, I showed you a furniture piece, and that was a very difficult moment for both of us because
yeah, I remember.
I was quite excited. I spent a lot of time doing it, and then I was kind of proud. I wanted to show you. And then when you came into the workshop, I was like about to explain to you what I did, and you like maybe 2 seconds while you were in there, you checked your smartwatch and you like read something on it. And I got so annoyed. I didn't even know where that frustration was coming from, but I got really annoyed. Like I was like, if you're not ready to give me attention or like spend time with me, like you can go. Like I was so,
Go away.
I was like really mad. And I remember you apologized and you said like, whatever you read. I mean,
I don't remember what was the message.
Yeah.
But I remember the situation.
Yeah. And I think from that point on, you tried to be more thoughtful of when I wanted your attention and that you were ready to give it 100%. For me, I think that moment it ticked a box that was ticked many times before when we were just spending time, and I got that bit of annoyed when you checked your phone or you were reading a bit too long in your phone while we were talking, and I had to ask you like half annoyed, like, is it important? And you were like, no, actually not. Like, I was like, okay. So I think what
A trigger?
No. I think what's what always was important for me when we talk about phone usage in a relationship is that I try to avoid these moments as much as possible, where I have that need just to have only you there with me. And if something technological comes in the way, it's just so unnecessarily annoying and
Sucks.
it sucks. And it's really frustrating actually and hurting as well. And it's really hard to convey that in the moment because for the other person, for you, it's not such a big deal because you're not hurting me on purpose. You were just checking your watch. So yeah.
I remember that you afterwards explained to me what was going on, also from your past childhood. What was going on? Do you want to elaborate a little bit about that? I mean, especially, for example, with things you wanted to show me, you were super excited about, like fishing, like woodworking or painting, or, something you created and you were really excited about. And then, because that was the situation, right? You were excited that you have created something and you wanted to show me and explain that. And yeah, it's like, look, I have created this and I have tried out this method and that method so that the wood looks differently and the structure of the wood is differently. And I was then looking at my phone on my smartwatch and got distracted. And that was basically the trigger, right? You were so excited about a topic, about something you have created, something that you were passionate about. And then I didn't put the intention into it that I wasn't as excited maybe, or didn't give you the attention you wanted to have because you wanted to show me something, right?
Yeah. I think it comes, of course, as many things from childhood where I just wanted to show something to my parents, for example, and they didn't have time or weren't interested in what I did, which sometimes happens. Yeah, I would say both of us have that for a certain extent, like the need to show something, which of course, like we're sharing our lives together. And it's a beautiful thing, to have another person, like if you show interest in my hobbies, I show interest in your hobbies. We both feel really good about like each other, right? And it seems like even though it's not that, like just checking your smartwatch for a second, it's not a trail in that yet. Like you're not rejecting my hobby and my interests and my whole being. And it's just weird that it seems that way to me. It's not so with you, I feel, in general. Yeah. But in general, you're not that triggered by that, or is it just that I don't?
I actually have a good counter experience.
Go ahead, because we both made mistakes, I've heard.
So what triggers me, which has nothing to do with the phone, is like if when we go for a walk.
Oh yeah.
We go for a walk.
Same thing, yeah.
And I share what's in my heart or something that is important to me or is not so easy to talk about. Not important, then I don't care very much. But if it's something I was like, okay, I put some thought into it, and it's often not so easy for me to put my emotions and what's going on inside of me into words. And you love nature, which is amazing, which is great. And you see so many things, but you are getting so excited with little things like, oh, look, there's fish in the river, in a creek. Or, oh, look, there is a beautiful bird or something, and I'm in the middle of, explaining or, giving my heart out and trying to put this in words. And then you said, oh, look, there's a bird. Leave this stupid bird. This is for me triggering. I know, even though if you just look at me and I was like, I know already, you look at me for me to wait that I finish so you can look in the creek. This is maybe in general is like active listening and stuff, so maybe not so much related to phone, but this is also like maybe related to when you want to show me something you're excited about and then I'm getting distracted by my smartwatch, my phone. Does that make sense?
It does. But, okay, I guess since we're on the topic of phones today, not in general conversations.
Active listening.
My point is, when we're in nature, then if there's an animal, it will go away and that moment will disappear. And it's usually an enjoyable moment, relatively enjoyable for both of us. And that's a distraction. But with phones, it's usually not an enjoyable moment for both of us. It's usually just an information for one person and the other person is left out totally, which is, it has a different feeling. Because one thing is I'm showing you and can both see it and experience it. And with phone,
Yeah, I get that.
one person is just totally left out and sitting there. Yeah.
Or standing.
We're standing.
Just in the rain.
Yeah. That was
Get
just
that.
my
Yeah, okay,
comparison.
I get that. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, but still you get distracted. Anyway, so not the point.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
made a good point. That's right. Yeah. What helped us actually to connect? What helped us to reconnect was, first of all, I quit my job after 2 years, and that was very helpful on having a job that is not as demanding and where I do have the energy more to give you more attention. And I noticed from before, because you had more energy because you didn't work full time. You earned that of a full-time job person, but you work like three days a week and you have time to, do your hobbies and stuff. And I didn't have that. Okay. I started to voice writing again, but the other thing was that we didn't do that for so long, but I think I had a call with Andrew. Also, I think it was about the phone. I'm not sure. It was about something. I think it was just a weekly call about, having couples. And we talked about the phone. And then I'm not sure if it was Andrew or it was Benji. Anyways, and where it was about, starting something small and implementing in your life, but it has to be slowly, not something you did this on one day and then the other day. And I was like, oh my God, feels so much. And so I think I came up with the idea on banning our phone from the bedroom, because I've also felt that because we have often this disconnection because of the phone, this fights or this disagreements, it was often difficult to connect and then also becoming intimate, to have a good sexual relationship. Right. And I feel since we don't have our phone in the bedroom, we use my watch for alarm clock. And I wake up, but which is enough. Because first I was like, oh yeah, I need the phone because of the alarm clock, yeah. So at first it was really weird not to have the phone in the bedroom, but I noticed that when we go to bed, it's really late. We don't talk so much anymore, but we connect before going to sleep. We talk a little bit about the day, and we started also to have this gratitude list. I was like, oh, what are you really grateful for this day? And how was your day? Where did you feel really good about yourself? Or what was really challenging? And I feel so much more connected with you because of that. And then talking with each other, and then also naturally going into intimacy and having sex is much easier than before. Being on the phone, like just both of us laying next to each other on our phones. And
obviously that's not a good precondition to feel connected. Yeah.
And
sure.
And I was like, and then he comes like, can we have sex? I was like, nope. I don't figure. I was like, oh, come on. It is much easier for me because to feel connected and then also be attracted, going easier into.
So how was that in the beginning for you to not have a phone in our bedroom?
I actually was able to go to bed much quicker.
You could fall asleep quicker?
Fall asleep quicker. I'm usually really good in falling asleep very fast. There are times at the moment right now, for example, it's not so easy, even though we don't have the phone in the bedroom.
And quite sure many couples already do that, like automatically, to just keep their phones out of the bedroom.
I'm not sure.
A few of them do 100%. What is what was for us such an annoying thing, but also so obvious, was that like during sex or foreplay, the phone would just like bing, someone would write a message. We were like,
bing.
We were like looking at each other like, you didn't turn off your like cellular. Yeah. Like you didn't put it in flight mode. And we just get annoyed at each other because someone else texted us because we like.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
I didn't get about it because of that. It didn't get out of rhythm, or it's like it didn't distract me actually.
It didn't distract you?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just you.
It was just me. Okay. It was just me. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I got distracted by it.
Yes.
And I got, it still took us such a long time to do something about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we figured that one out.
Yeah. We are trying to not to use the phone in the bathroom, like sitting on a toilet, because it's also time just passes.
we always we call through the flat, Daria, did you fall into the toilet? And then she's like,
I'm asking that.
yes, yeah, because I'm also falling in the toilet. So we tried.
I think now it was for me at the beginning. You said, let's do both. Like, no phone in bedroom, and no in the bathroom. And I was like,
we started that like how many months ago?
10 months.
Yeah.
Hey.
So long? Oh, okay.
Not too fair. 10 months. At the beginning, I had the idea with the bedroom. And then I think you said, okay, let's do it also with the bathroom. And I was first saying, no, let's first implement that with the bedroom, because I felt it was already taking away so much on my phone time. But then it became better, and we allowed each other to call each other out. Like, oh, you're on the phone. Give me the phone. And I was like, okay, we have to submit. And I feel I think what also made a difference is in general with using the phone, or also being more aware on leaving my phone, not getting distracted or leaving it when we had a conversation, is that I become more aware of my ego. That I was like, okay, is it my ego now talking? It's like, oh no, I want to use my phone because I can use my phone, and my husband, you cannot say anything about it. Is my ego. And then the laugh says, I want to give my husband, Sebastian, the full attention because he deserves it. And I love him, and I want to connect. And that, for the past few months, I've really been learning more and more about choosing love over ego. This is another conversation we can have. But that was also becoming more aware. It's like, it's not just about me. It's also you want to connect. That we have a connection. You have been fighting for that. And then I noticed, actually, that was very interesting. You started a project on the computer lab, right? And I got really annoyed that you were spending so much time on the computer.
I didn't give you attention because I was...
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt more and more ignored. Woke up. Usually I'm the one who gets up early, so I didn't ignore the early bird. But you got up like an hour earlier than me. And you were sitting already in the hoodie.
Super focused.
Super focused. And I got really annoyed. So right now it's better because you're not as focused on your project.
No,
I guess this is also a conversation then to have communication on our needs.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess also expectations. And on the other side, I am still happy for you that, and impressed as well, that you are able to be so focused and really dig into a topic and working your ass off. Basically, that motivated me as well to do more and to do better and to move forward with things that I have to do. So, but yeah, I guess again, it's like the way of communicating with each other. And what helped as well was safe conversation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I felt like we were talking past each other. Also with the topic on phone or connecting or different things, right? And safe conversation with the monologue, frustration monologue, was really helpful.
Expressing.
Yeah. Expressing better and really feeling listened to. That you really get it. And the same way also the other way is like when you express yourself and you explain it, that I really got it.
Yeah.
And that was so it was really powerful. It is powerful.
Yeah. I have two more topics.
Go ahead. So how do you see our future relationship and the usage of the phone?
If we would have been blessed 5 years before we got blessed, so 10 years ago now, it seemed it was a very different world with the phones. Of course, we would have still talked about distracting messages and to keep the phone quiet. But I think the challenge we faced during the last 5 years was the challenge of the short form addictiveness of YouTube and TikTok and Instagram Shorts. And I guess just the time that gets wasted while being on those apps. And it seems like quite a task to get a handle of that,
because it's so easy access and it's so
yes.
It really creates so much endorphins in our brain.
Yeah, exactly. And for people that are struggling, I know there's apps for blocking these kinds of social media contents. For example, App Block or Freedom or 1 second. And I think potentially those problems with the addictiveness of social media will get worse before it gets better. And it seems important as a couple to just talk about it and be mindful of it. That if one of the two or both really struggle with spending many hours per day, each day on the phone, if that's the case, it definitely warrants a conversation around that. And perhaps a conversation of starting challenges like no phone in the bedroom, no phone on the toilet, maybe deleting certain apps and providing alternatives like fun series or some sorts of YouTube shows, maybe like things that are easier digestible and that won't keep you in a loop for a few hours, but where you watch a few episodes and you feel fine afterwards, right? You can continue with your day and you still feel rejuvenated, right? Yeah. I just wanted to make that clear that it seems like for me, the ideal where the phone in our relationship was a thing to like a vehicle to connect with each other and with our family and friends. It got hijacked a few years ago where it got in between our relationship more than it needed to. And that happens, I suppose, with many relationships.
Right. So back to my question, it's like, how do you see that in our relationship?
Yeah, I think we can evolve with these no phone zones in our house and still
free zone
phone zones and still make jokes if someone forgets about it and still has it with them in the room. Don't be too serious about it.
That is really a phone free zone.
Yeah, that definitely is. Yeah.
Sometimes during the day, we want to lay on our belly, then we are there. But if we're going to bed, it is an absolute free phone zone.
Yes. I can see a time where we can include free phone mornings for the first 1, 2, 3 hours in the mornings. Just start the day with a peace of mind and no input.
So this is something you would like to do?
Yeah, definitely. Also perhaps deleting 1 or 2 apps that are most addictive. Try that again and stick to it. Maybe we can even do a challenge and post it on social media.
Well, we're starting now with Instagram, social media with higher couples. So that will be a bit difficult to delete that.
Yeah, well, that's work related. But when we start our challenge, we could definitely invite everyone. Yeah, have fun together. Anything else? What is your vision with the phone in our relationship?
I mean, as you said, it's definitely also a way to connect to people and to learn. I mean, it is a tool.
Sure.
But as you said, if it's hijacking our time, our day, and it dictates our daily life in a way that, I mean, I don't have that anymore as much that I'm hours and hours on my phone. But it happens. And it's like, it feels like it's a slip. And then, I have sometimes, where throughout the whole day, I'm on my phone more or less, or like at least 3 to 4 hours. And I'm so...
3 to 4 isn't that bad, actually.
In one row, in one set.
Yeah,
I think it's
I would be more interested in what the whole day would add up to.
Right. No. So that is like 1 or 2 weeks ago, I had this where I felt like I was really like maybe even more, maybe 5 or 6 hours on the phone. And in between also watching TV series and stuff like that. You were working, and then in the evening I was like, oh, shoot, I wasn't doing anything, like nothing properly, nothing in the household or something that I needed to do for work. And I was so devastated. Really, it was so annoyed on myself. And then I sat down and was working for 2 hours. I remember I started at 8 and then I had to pick you at 10 p.m.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, now it's enough. And now, then I felt, I was like, okay, at least I did something. And I felt better afterwards. But still, I was like, okay. And in this 2 hours, I was really focused. I
Wow.
was really,
That never happens to me, basically, because after a bit too much phone use, I feel very scattered in my head.
Oh.
And it's really hard for me to focus or find motivation to do anything valuable for that day.
Oh,
And
I
that's
think
why
that
I'm so careful about how much time I start the day with on my phone.
yeah, I got that. But so I just did it and I felt better, but I was still like kind of, my gosh, I could have done it earlier. Feeling better about myself and feeling better about the day.
So it sounds like you procrastinated. You didn't want to do it, but then in the end you knew you had to.
Yeah,
So you procrastinated the whole day.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is often for me that if I use my phone, it is really just procrastination. I mean, procrastination and numbing, especially if there's some emotional stuff going on and I don't know how to express them properly. Even though you like to ask me open-ended questions, so that's sometimes really difficult then to answer or go deeper. And for example, yesterday, I told you that.
Yeah. I asked you how you were doing.
And I said, I cannot do anything with this question because it's too open-ended. You need it more specific. And that you asked me more specific and that was really helpful.
Yeah, we had a nice talk yesterday.
Yeah, it was really good.
So
I hope it was helpful for other people.
it was good to reflect on what we did. We integrated our phones into our lives.
Or how to grade it.
Or outgraded, yeah.
But I definitely feel connected with you now. I felt like that was a meaningful conversation for me to have with you.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you for having your attention. I love you.
Thanks for having yours.
I didn't want to look coffee one time. I was because they came out alert for a calendar.
And I'm triggered about that. I know.
Dan, I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. I hope we're gonna get out now. And I wish all the listeners to have a good day. See you next time.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.